let's introduce these guys. Enough about me. I would like to hear a little bit about Bay and the story behind Grillz Queen and how she became the Grillz Queen from Instagram and TikTok, and how she ended up in this business and how she became one of the goats.
Yeah, so thank you. Firstly, thank you to anyone watching for joining. It's an honor to be able to talk about our industry, what we do every single day as well. So I'm very grateful to be part of this live stream with two amazing people in the industry as well. But yeah, a little bit about my journey, and I guess like to summarize how I got started into making grills is I came from a dental background. So my background is in dental prosthetics and technology. So I have 2 degrees in those fields, and then pretty much I started making grills while I was at uni. So while still doing everything part of my course on the side, whenever I had time with the materials as well at uni and all the equipment at hand, I would just start making random things. So, I mean, one of my first creations, actually, these are fake teeth, just for example, but this is one of my first creations, a pencil here with some fake teeth. So I was just making a lot of random stuff in the lab, and then I know it's pretty out there, but that was pretty much like what started the journey, I would say. Was just creating things, and then I was doing a lot of jewelry in the dental lab, and then I think Johnny Dang, and if you don't know Johnny Dang, he's like one of the goats of grills. He came up on my feed on socials, and I was like, oh, okay, well, grills, I'm doing jewelry at uni, plus I'm already studying teeth. Like I feel like, okay, I could do something like this. And I started making a lot of grills for myself and my friends at uni. I think I started my second year, so I was doing that for a few years before I actually graduated. And then pretty much like I would say how I actually fell into the business because I originally got a government job in dental. I turned that down just before I finished uni, and then I feel like I kind of, you know, posting online with like my work. I would say in a way I was peer pressured a little bit to start actually making grills for people other than my friends and myself. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. No one's really doing grills here in Australia. And then that's why I kind of say like I feel like I fell into the industry a little bit because I had my sights set on being a dental prosthetist, and then got distracted by the diamonds and the shiny gold. So veered off a little bit into making grills. So that's like the summary of my story as to how I got started.
That's beautiful, man. When did you think it like you felt things turned around and you said, "Wow, I'm really living off of this and I'm becoming this reference that you are."
I think I feel like one of the turning points was like when I would go out wearing my grills, and I was posting a bit online, but I didn't really understand, I guess, like the reach that I was having with my work and where my content was going. But I would go out wearing them, and people would be like, "Oh my God, you're the Grillz Queen. You're the Grillz Queen." I was like, "Oh." Like that was just like the name of my social media profile. I didn't think I had actually started the business at that point, but I was like, oh yeah, that's me. Like I'm the girl that makes the grills, I guess. So it started turning around a little bit when I started getting a bit more traction on social media, and then I guess like I was actually like after I finished uni, I did end up still doing dental tech work. So I was doing digital design, and I was I guess doing that on the side, doing the grills, slowly kind of getting into it, and then eventually ran out of time in terms of like being able to do both, and then decided I'm just going to stick with the grills for now. I feel like I've found a good niche here. I'm enjoying it. I love the clients. It's fun as well, so that's when I kind of like stuck with it, I guess.
That's that's crazy, man. Like, and that out of all of a sudden you just like a jeweler or
Blew up.
something, right?
It just happened. It really did just kind of happen.
That's nice. Is there anything that you found out that was really hard, like in your beginning parts, or even now? Like it could be like what's the biggest issue that you stumble across?
Yeah, I mean, every day I would say brings a new challenge. You know, we do a lot of the same designs, but even still, like everyone's teeth, every client is different. So I would say like starting out, one of the biggest challenges I had was kind of identifying my brand and like what I wanted to do with the business as well. When I actually started the business, it was called Wild Smiles, and I wanted to be doing like more of the conventional side of dentistry. So I was still trying to do a little bit of both. When I first started the business, I think one of the challenges that I faced was like, what direction like am I going? Am I still going to be kind of like hanging on to the dental side of things, or should I just stick to my guns and just specialize in the grills, which was a really big risk to take because in Australia there wasn't really a market for it. I feel like I almost had to like forge my way through and start creating the market. Like once people start seeing the work and seeing like, oh, this is something that like I could wear. It doesn't have to be like the full front. It can just be like a one tooth, two teeth kind of grill. I feel like yeah, like things started to change for me, and I knew like that was kind of the direction I had to go with. But yeah, one of the challenges was figuring out like what I wanted to do, I would say. And today, in terms of challenges, I would say just the demand and the clients, the work that I have on the bench at the moment. I would say I've probably stretched myself a little bit too thin with like.
What a great challenge!
Good time, I would say. Yeah. Moving to
Nice
jobs behind
job.
me. Like someone's got to get to these grills. Someone's got to do it, and it's me. So that's one of the challenges these days.
Well, and just to close off this part, is there any fun facts that you can share with us?
Fun facts, as in like, do you want a fun fact about myself or about the business and grills? How far are we gonna?
Your choice. It's your choice.
Okay, I'll do like a fun fact about my name because I have a really bad habit of not introducing myself properly to my clients. But my name, Bay, so it's spelled B-A-Y. I was actually named after.
Your name isn't Queen. Your name isn't Queen.
It's not real Queen. I tell you, that's the thing. It's crazy. People are like always coming like, I don't actually know your name. So yeah, I was named after a plant. My parents were both enviroscientists. I have 3 sisters, and we're all named after plants as well. So I think that's like my fun fact about myself.
Oh, that's crazy. I love it. Love it. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for.
She's like, I never had a baby name book. I just had a book about plants, and that's what kind of happened. Yeah, fair enough.
Your parents should be amazing, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Mao, nice to have you here, brother. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself a little bit and please introduce yourself, bro. How did you end up here, bro?
Duda and Bay, it's lovely to be in a conversation with both of you. And I cannot see how many people are streaming, but I'm sure there are a few of you from around the world.
We're almost 20.
Amazing. Welcome to our space. And we're very grateful to all be together in this Grillz community journey. My name is Lex. I'm known as Dr. Smile, and I'm a South African-born cosmetic dentist. But the journey has been of many things. I started making jewelry, just handmade things from wood and from leather and different animal skins that I had access to here in South Africa. And I would make and sell those pieces of jewelry to help push me and have spending money in university. And I was always just a creative. I was good with my hands. That's what I knew. I went into the dental space very much as I would say a rogue student, because I was very much an arty student, and majority of the students were very science-based. But it worked out because I started playing around, as Bay said, with a lot of the materials in dental school. As I said, I enjoyed making things, so I started playing. I didn't ever make grills in university. We obviously within dentistry space manufactured chrome cobalt dentures and metal crowns and ceramics and acrylic dentures and. So I had an understanding for teeth and fit and dimension and accuracy and shrinkage and expansion, and I understood these processes. And I had hand time working with instruments and waxes and this and that. And this is why after I graduated dentistry in 2010, and then I did a postgraduate degree in prosthodontics, so a master's in prosthodontics later on, because I wanted to push the academics a little bit, because I'm also a lecturer of the dentistry at the university.
Question.
Yeah,
is prosthodontics like braces and stuff?
Prosthodontics is crowns, veneers, bridges,
Implant
crowns.
Okay, nice.
I would say a very big part of functional and cosmetic dentistry. So yes, I went to do a master's in that, and I have a great love for prosthetic dentistry, minimally invasive prosthetic dentistry and cosmetic dentistry. That's what I do most of the time. But before I was in this space, I graduated as a little junior dentist, and I was doing some fillings here, and I was doing some crowns every so often, and some dentures. And I was involved in the South African entertainment scene in different ways. And I was approached by one of our very big creatives to say, could I make a set of Grillz? This was now 14 years ago. And I always like challenges. I'm like, yeah, I can figure it out. I'm a dentist. I should be able to figure this out. And then went straight to work. There were no Grillz in South Africa. No one had made Grillz yet in South Africa. So there was a lot to learn and steps to figure out. So I made the first few sets for myself. And the approach was kind of duplicate model with chrome cobalt techniques, and the fit was great. But anyway, we learned there's a lot of things that we learned. But very similar to Bay, and this is why I laughed when you showed me the pencil. Because in university, this was the first, when I was in university, this was one of the first things that I made. Okay, very similar to you, and I brought it along. Exactly. It's so funny. So I'm going to show you.
You made a pen. You made a pen too?
No, I didn't make a pen, but look what I made. And what's funny about this is the principle is still a grill. But I wasn't thinking about Grillz at that time, so watch.
Oh.
Javi, please freeze this. Take a screenshot.
So I made this because I thought it was funny, and I understood the principles that you can create things like this. So shout out Bay. We keep finding more and more similarities between us.
So many similarities about our story, like we're learning more and more.
So I had fun, and I think anyone who's interested in making Grillz, there is a big creative love that you have, because it is very artistic. It's extremely artistic, and it becomes more and more scientific as you understand all the dynamics of a good grill versus a bad grill. And we're going to go into a little bit of that for you guys, so that you don't overlook the importance of these things. And it's not just a piece of jewelry. But yes, back to, and now I'm just talking, but back to introduction. Basically started Grillz about 14 years ago, and grew and developed. And for many years in South Africa, for at least 7 to 8 years, I would say. No, maybe 8, 9 years. I was the only dentist, with these skills making Grillz in the country.
Yeah.
And now we have probably, I would say, about, and we can count them so you can see it's still small, but we probably have about 7 to 8 people doing Grillz in South Africa. I'm the only dentist who's also making Grillz myself, like a jeweler. And then we have technicians doing such beautiful pieces who supply some dentists. And then we also have just raw talent. They're not a technician, they're not a dentist, they're just individuals who have or do not have jewelry backgrounds, and they're learning and they're growing and they're doing such beautiful pieces, and they're going through that journey. So now we are growing as a culture. It's been very exciting for me because obviously being a dentist and also teaching dentistry in academics, I'm always aware of advances in terms of materials as well as technology. And I'm also primarily a digital dentist. And I've been doing digital dentistry now. I mean, I learned it in university, but I've been practicing it at least for the last 10 years. And so the first ever digital padded grill that we did here in South Africa is actually this one. And he did this now exactly 8 years ago. And this was CADed, it printed, and it was the first time. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. And I made it for myself. And so since that time, we've been growing. We're very far, I would say, behind the rest of the world when things had started. But we're definitely at a very similar standard and quality now. And great people to learn from and aspire to.
That's really nice to know. And just fun fact about me, you have no idea how much I have looked into this exact piece that you showed, and I was like, bro, how can I get to this level of design, man? Like, if
Oh,
in the
that's
very
good. Thank
beginning,
you.
I didn't even know you. I was just looking at your page and saying, how can he make such a beautiful piece, you know? So
Thank
that's
you.
really
Thank you.
nice to see. Um,
I must say one more thing though. I've come to the stage where I'm able to make what I consider very beautiful pieces and grills with a team. It's always like that for me. I would not set every stone. I would not CAD every grill. I would not do all the finishing. I'm always involved. Every single piece I make, I'm involved throughout the process. But I have a team. And for me, it's important to say, because even when I started and I began, I did it with a technician. Because I didn't have casting facilities. Like a dentist doesn't have a casting facility. We have a dental room and hand pieces, and you can come with me for filling and a root canal. I don't know how to cast stuff. I don't know about setting. I've learned this stuff obviously over the years. So I like to also make sure that people know that I didn't just do this by myself. I had people show me the ropes, introduce me to the jewelry space, introduce me to casting, introduce me to setting, introduce me to CADs, and then I made it happen. And you bring all of this knowledge together.
that's beautiful, bro.
I can, of course, make things completely start to finish by myself, also hand wax and then go and sand cast it and I don't know, whatever. But it's not a standard. It's not a standard that is as high as where the world is. So
That's nice. That's important to just make sure we mention the people that are involved, right?
yes,
What's what's your biggest issue like when you were starting and right now? What's the part that you say, wow, this I wasn't expecting.
my biggest issue starting was understanding shrinkage and fit, different metals, different temperatures, porosities. You used to get a lot of porosities because now people in dentistry knew how to do titanium. People in dentistry knew how to do NPG, which is non-precious gold. People in dentistry knew how to use gold, standard yellow gold. Now I'm coming, okay, now I want to do this in rose gold at this temperature, and then I want to do this in white gold. And then I had the same people casting it for me, and I come up with blowout and porosities, and it didn't flow all the way through. Then I had to hand wax the whole thing again. I was like, like when I'm on a tight deadline. So this used to stress me. I've got that down pretty well now. So it's not a stress anymore. And I understand fit exceptionally well, I think, because in dentistry, my veneers were getting accuracies to 50 to 100 microns. Now, when we're speaking about that, with grills, it's a bit easier, but not always. So, so it has always been understanding the material to optimize fit and efficiency of process. That's always been the adventure for me of growth.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And do you have a fun fact to throw to everyone?
Fun fact. I don't know if it's fun, but I like to do a lot of different things. So on the side of dentistry, um, I have a few side businesses. One is my jewelry business, but I have recently launched an oral care range in South Africa, and so I create my own toothbrushes and floss
That's
and annual
sitting on the
brushes. And
side there. Have you got one?
What's that?
what is this? What is this?
What?
What product placement? So
Oh,
these are my
so no,
brushes. So I've created like the first South African designed electric toothbrush, which is a big deal for our country, but for me, and there's me on the back. Very
look at this,
cool.
Oh,
man.
I
This
am a
is
real
a
dentist.
superstar, man.
I've got to say they're
And
beautiful toothbrushes. I don't have one yet myself, but just looking at them, they're
not
beautiful.
yet available in Australia, but we're gonna make a plan.
One day, one day.
Yeah. But yes, I mean that's a very exciting journey because I have a big focus on oral health and dental health and holistic body health. So to bring out the correct type of products that actually look after the well-being of your mouth and your teeth, and improve hygiene, um, this is a priority for me. And this is something that we're definitely going to speak about in this growth discussion, which is overlooked by people who are not dental related, unfortunately. Um, and so, yes, it's very important. So, yes, I've started that business and it's growing and I'm very excited. I just found out the other day that in South Africa, we have now sold over 2,500 of them, which is great. And it's growing and it's growing. Um, and yes, for every brush that I sell, I give away one manual brush for free to somebody in need. So that's really nice because people are understanding kind of the brand linked to health and well-being of everybody.
Yeah.
And all my Grillz clients get the brush. So they're contributing to the health and well-being of everyone, and they know health is priority.
That is a great initiative you've got going there. Love it.
Thanks.
I'm gonna take some
That's
notes.
beautiful. I love it. And next time, bro, when I'm in South Africa, I'm getting grilled just to get a toothbrush. I really want a toothbrush.
You come. I'll give you a special discount. I'll give you a special
Well,
rate if you. I know a good cadder. I know a very good cadder, so we can
oh,
get a special rate.
introduce me, please. Okay, we have very nice comments here already. We have people say, "I'm from Korea, huge fan of Grillz Queen. I love you. Keep doing the good work." Uh, we have people say there's a lot of new people starting all on their own. That's why this is so inspiring. And what an inspirational people you guys are. So people are loving it, man.
Thank you.
Let's get
Thank you,
going.
everybody.
Oh, so good.
So to actually start after the presentation, the introduction, um, I want to talk about the thing that people are here for, right? And we need to talk about the fit, the famous perfect fit that everybody is searching and searching, and that's the whole reason we are here in general. Of course, there's a lot more than just good fit into grills making and into the science of grills, but it's important we mention it and we bring it because it's what we are all looking and trying to get right. So
Yeah.
before actually going to it, I think it's important we mention all the legal awareness part is where we understand what's our role and what is not our role too. It's important, and I want to ask Bay about it. How is things in Australia? I understand that every country has its own laws and their process, but I imagine it's kind of similar um, to what I experienced here in Brazil, which is we have very strict laws and only dentists can take molds, and you can't make the pieces in the same place where you take the molds and have your patients or your clients to come in. Uh, so I want your input in this and how is this to you and how do you see uh, the process of new guys coming in, new people coming in, and not necessarily having the study, the background,
Yeah.
and also like the degrees and everything.
Yeah, definitely. So we had a lot of conversations about this before the live stream as well, because it is different in every country, the regulations and the rules in terms of dentistry as a whole. And so I get a lot of DMs about, people starting out making grills, and a lot of DMs about the secret to the perfect fit. So happy to be touching on this in terms of the side of things in, I guess, related to becoming like a dental practitioner. So different in every country. When people ask about what they need to do to become a grills maker, I always ask, what country are you from? Where are you based? Because it's really important to have, enough background research and information before embarking on a journey, I guess, as a grills maker in this career. So in Australia, it's, I would say, very similar as well as it would be in Brazil and South Africa as well. So we have a regulatory body, which is APRA here. I'm not going to quote the exact acronym off the top of my head, but APRA is pretty much takes care of every single health practitioner in Australia. So from nurses, I think like radiographers, doctors, dentists, dental prosthetists, anyone that is a registered practitioner is registered on APRA. And so the difference with, I guess, my qualifications as to what, if you're going to see someone that is doing grills and doesn't have that background education, the difference is that we're all legally protected in what we're doing, and we also adhere to a code of conduct as a practitioner as well. So in my specialty, it's similar, shares a lot of similarities with Dr. Smell, but my specialty is actually removable prosthetics. So legally, I don't do anything that is fixed. As a technician, I can produce implants, fix dentures, just anything like that. I can produce them, but I cannot put them into the client's mouth. And so even simple things like people ask me, oh, can I get gemstones? Can you put some gemstones on my teeth? That's actually technically out of my scope as a dental prosthetist because it's not removable. So the grills for me was the perfect hybrid, I guess, between the tech side of things. I have the skill base and the knowledge and the expertise to be able to make the grills and understand if any problems do arrive. I know how to fix them. I know the background. I can kind of access my little vault of information of study and go, this is what's happening here. This is how we resolve a problem. And then in the other side of that is the prosthetist. I can actually legally see the patient and do their impressions as well. And with that comes with a whole set of rules and regulations that I also have to adhere to. So this is something that a lot of my clients probably don't even know, but when you book in, we have all of the information, just how the dentist would. Every single conversation I have with the client after they get their grills, when they come in for their consult, I do patient notes. They're all time logged, and that's bare minimum for me in terms of adhering to my code of conduct. So there's I guess a little bit more of the intricacies of what goes on behind the scenes as a practitioner, and it's no matter where you're from, it's really important to do your background research as to what the rules and regulations are in your country, because it isn't consistent worldwide. It's different in every country. But as far as things are in Australia, you have to be registered to actually work with the patient, do the impression molds and things like that as well. So that's one of my background into it. Is it the same in South Africa, Dr. Smiles?
Yes, 100%. So we have dentists, we have dental therapists, and then we have oral hygienists. These three areas of dentistry, all of these career paths have to be registered with the Health Professions Council of South Africa, and they are legally allowed to work in a patient's mouth. We don't have separate, like you, a prosthetist, we don't have that we have dental technicians, and then we have what I just mentioned. And so dental technicians, as you said, can very rightly make and create everything, cannot themselves install it, and cannot legally take impressions. And it's this interesting space where you kind of say like, well, what's the big deal? And I'm sure nothing can go wrong. But it's not for the everyday thing, but there's always that outlier where something can happen and something can go wrong. And you don't have perhaps an understanding of the implications necessarily, or you would not be supported legally should you have a problem. So this is one of the things to be focused on. And it's a simple solution. And the simple solution is anybody who's not either a prosthetist or a dentist or an oral hygienist and is not legally allowed to take impressions and have a patient in, it's really simple. Just pair yourself with an oral hygienist or with a dentist. That's all you need to do. Like, this is your person, and you can do all of your magic, and the growth can go in the mouth confidently because you know that you have some eyes overseeing your work. One thing that is super important to me, so for example, every single one of my Grillz clients comes to me at my dental practice, and they will have a checkup and a cleaning, which is included in the cost of their growth. I tell them, I'm not doing growth for you if your mouth is not healthy. And if they come for the consult, I will do their cleaning. I will make sure I've taught them how to floss, how to brush, how to maintain the standard of their mouth. And then when they come back to get their growth, I have confidence that they're going to know how to look after their mouth when grills are inside. It's not so much about how to look after the grill. That's a separate issue and how you can keep them clean and what you can do. But how do you look after your mouth knowing that grills are going in and out? So this is something that all of my clients / patients have to go through. And then I have a full confidence that I am not doing anything damaging. Because as a dentist, I have a legal obligation to not do anything that causes harm. So if I don't holistically educate, then girls can easily cause harm if you don't understand their implications. And so to all of the jewelers watching who don't have a dental link and who don't have a legal implication of if they get something wrong or not, because you don't. You're going to mess up someone's teeth, oh, well, my bad, and then go to the dentist and they'll figure it out for you. You have a big responsibility on your shoulders to pair yourself with a dentist or an oral hygienist so that any of your clients who are looking to get growth from you, it's a moral obligation, actually. You send them via, please go get your cleaning, come to me. Or if you see them and you can see that they've got gingivitis and they've got a loose tooth and they've got a big cavity there, don't just cover it with a grill so that pretend it's not there. Advise them, send them, then you'll be doing the right thing, not just making money and then good luck.
Yeah, and I think if people understand that, they'll get more credibility, and in the long run, their business will have more will be more recognized as a serious business. You know, if you have a client and you don't try to push it and say, hey, I'll fix your teeth and we're gonna cover it and your teeth gonna be looking good, and at a point they're not wrong. Like, they will give the confidence of smiling back to people right away. Like, the people are gonna get out with the grill and they're gonna be feeling a lot better with the teeth, with the smile. But you can't just ignore that there's a problem, right? So if you say, sorry, I'm not doing this grill for you before you fix your teeth and you go to look for a dentist or to take care of your health, you might, you're not going to sell for this person, but that person is going to look at you different. Like,
going to respect in a different way. And I've lost a lot of money. You know, I can think of the girls that I've lost, and this is from people that had a lot of money. And they come to like, okay, I want top and bottom, top 10, bottom 10, eyes out, 18
VVS.
I'm like, yeah, it's like this. And I'm like, oh. So we're going to have to actually take you through this dental routine first to get this right. And so you're going to end up losing these teeth. And then didn't get the growth. And then they went somewhere else and got the growth by someone who didn't care. It's like, okay, but you can't compromise your standard for that. Your business will be stronger with a better moral foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. We want our clients to wear their grills for life. You know, if we're putting grills on teeth that are compromised, you're at a risk of losing them, and then you've got a grill that can't go anywhere, can't go in those teeth anymore. So, yeah, I definitely like share that with
Can
you.
we explain why? Can we explain why? Sorry, babe, I don't want to cut
Yeah,
you just on that thought. We need to explain to people why it damages teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is quite important, you know. So let's say you are using metals that are safe in dentistry, titanium-based, nickel-based, palladium-based. These are materials that are used in different aspects of dentistry. And yeah, there are a lot of journal articles which speak about metals and how they interact with your saliva. It's called oral galvanism. It's called galvanism, right? And so we know metals interact with ions which are in our saliva, and it creates a different environment on our mouth if we don't wear the glove. Now, for the most part, gold is inert, yes, chemically.
Yeah, gold is gold
inert,
standard, isn't it?
right? But then you have gold, 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 you have 18 karat, you have 9 karat, you have more of this element, more of that element. But the point is, if you're just making anything and putting it in the mouth, there are also not studies on every single material in the mouth. So now we can see we're getting a lot of like the ceramic e-coating now that's coming out now. And I've been testing it also. You don't know what that's going to do in the mouth. How are you going to know?
I don't do it. That's why I don't do it. I only want materials that are going to last.
You don't have a study yet on that. I made one for myself and I put it in. I'm like, okay, is my lip going to swell up? Let me see if something going to happen to my gum. Let me see. I have to do it on myself, right? Because you can't do it on a patient ethically. So I do it on myself, and then I'll figure out, okay, is this good? Is this not good? How does it behave? Duda's frozen, so we'll just speak until he's unfrozen. Is he frozen for you or just for me?
He's frozen for me as well. I only just looked around and was like, oh, that's, yep, very frozen.
Yeah, take it. Okay,
oh.
We can hear you now. But your face, okay, you're back now. So what is actually important? Okay, so let's speak about it from a saliva, gum health, functional perspective. Not now just about, is the metal reacting with your saliva, changing the pH in your mouth? Because everyone must understand this. Your teeth decay at a pH from 5.5 lower. Okay, so this is gentle acidity to strong. So 5.5 pH, you start. It's the process of demineralization. Your teeth have minerals, they have calcium, they have phosphates. The bacteria take out those minerals, and that's how they penetrate and make a cavity. So this is important to understand. So whatever you're putting in your mouth, if you're taking your pH down, you're going to cause cavities. So you're wearing your grill and you go and drink a lot. Well, all alcohol is acidic, and then whatever else you drink, acidic. If you're wearing your grills long the whole day, and you're not getting enough of your healthy saliva penetrating below the grill, your saliva, which is your natural mouthwash, does not have access to those micro cavities and cannot help buffer the acids and remineralize and fight the bacteria. So this is something important to understand. So it's not just like, oh, let me wear my grills for the whole day, 12 hours, 14 hours, and I'm drinking, I'm smoking in the club, and then I'm this, and I'm that. And then whatever's going on under here does not have access to your saliva. Now, in one day, it won't cause the issue, but it will progressively cause the issue. So you can't just also perpetually wear this every single day because now it's your vibe and it's your look and everyone knows you for that, and you don't give your teeth a little bit of a break underneath. Also, when we speak about, please.
Oh, so I was going to say, that's why I have on my instructions of wearing Ks to wear them for shorter intervals. And then another thing I always say to my client is, just because it's I guess like easy for them to keep in mind, is like anything that's bad for your teeth will most likely be bad for the grill as well. And if you want the piece for life, then you've got to also look after your teeth as well. And that's something that I share with my clients.
And this is also something that's quite important when you speak about fit. So if you have not optimized your fit and your grill is scratching the enamel significantly, You're going to weaken the enamel in that area. Majority of grills, their retention is from the gum level, where the undercuts are. So it's in the lower third of the tooth, closer to the gum. The enamel in the it's called the gingival third, or the third of the tooth closest to the gum, is only normally 0.3, so 300 microns thick. Yeah, that's normally how the enamel tapers off to that thin, whereas by the edge of the tooth, it's 1 to 1.2 millimeters thick. So we're getting our retention from the gum line zone that has the thinnest enamel. That is overbrushed. That is least acid resistant. Blah, 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 blah. You have to understand that this is a long-term issue for teeth. It's not like, oh, put in your grill and you're fine on that day, because someone's going to keep that grill for years and years. And so you want to educate them. And if you cannot educate them, that's why you should pair yourself with an oral hygienist or a dentist, and then they can begin to help educate. And you might say, look, I know there's something about your enamel and something about this. Go and ask your dentist, because I don't really know it, but I know it's important and I want you to be well looked after. So understand that about pH, access of your saliva, proper cleaning, obviously the inside surface, the fitting surface of your grill will get residue from whatever you have drank or smoked that day. You definitely should not be eating with grills. So I don't want to have the discussion about eating with grills.
That is my number one rule. Just please don't eat with grills. Please don't do that.
Yeah. I don't want to have that. But what happens if you eat with your grills? You've got a 1 to 1.5 millimeter thicker layer over your teeth. And so you're going to have a traumatic occlusion or a trauma to the teeth opposite your grill. And you'll create micro cracks and macro cracks and chips and getting rid of the enamel. And then you try to eat, you're going to end up messing with your jaw, actual joint. Because you're it's like walking funny, like you got a stone in one shoe and you're going to try walk. So just stay away from that, because it has implications long term. Some of them we don't know about what the implications are. I can speak a lot about this. I want to stop so that you can speak and ask more questions.
Bro, I want to go to your class someday.
We're learning a lot. But yeah, it does tie in with the perfect fit as well, because realistically, if the grills aren't fitting correctly and it's constantly wearing down on those areas that are more at risk of cavities and being damaged, then you've got a problem on your hands. And that's another one of the implications that could arise long term, tying in with the fit.
When one thing to add. When I started catting grills with you, Duda, we had a lot of discussions about how much tooth coverage I don't do that you're used to doing, or that other grills makers are used to doing. And I'm like, no, you don't need to cover there. You don't need to cover. I don't like to cover enamel if I don't need to cover enamel. And I try to minimize where my retention zones are so that everything is free sitting and only small zones are there for retention.
Yeah.
So that you minimize scratching of your enamel. Yeah.
Okay, we are officially back. People gave us the feedback and they can hear us. Just getting back to what Dr. Smile was saying. That was very interesting that you mentioned about the points of connection, the point of retention. Sorry, about the grills and not using extra metal where it doesn't need to have, right? So that was really interesting to see your process to be able to understand where the grills will click in and where it's going to retain, like the tension of the fit without needing to use extra metal. I remember there was one piece you showed me that it was like a two teeth that only had metal in the in between parts, only in the undercuts, and that was like one of the first pieces we done together. And that made me like lose my sleep. I was like, how is he going to do that? because that was like a back part of Grillz that I'd never seen before. There was just
Yeah.
literally imagine like a gap filler in the back part on every uh, undercut. So there's like two
I
teeth
think
and just three bars holding it.
if you really pay attention on a tooth to where the retention is coming from, you realize that it's from 30 to 40%, maybe 30% of the tooth. You can get, if we say there's this term passive retention, that is just gently pushing and holding just under the undercut. And then you can get like active force retention. You don't want forced active retention on a tooth. Then you're just putting pressure on it and you're messing with the periodontal ligaments inside. And so you can cause, and this is quite important, this is how braces work. But you're causing movement of the root of the tooth, resorption of the ligaments that hold the tooth in. So you're not supposed to be putting imbalanced pressures on a tooth. You're not supposed to be scratching it and forcing things on it. It should just go over and just love and then gently also come on. It should just hug it. But that is difficult. That's not something that's so simple to do.
Yeah, that comes with experience, I think, as well, and perfecting that every single time. Would you say that in terms of design, because we want to talk a bit more about like the design component as well, because sometimes it's not as simple as just putting metal over a tooth. But would you say that there's different types of designs for different purpose of wear? I don't know about for you, but for when my clients come in, I always ask like, what's like your purpose of wear? Do you want a grill that you're going to rock every single day? Do you want something like this where you can just talk with it, wear it, kind of forget that you got it in, or do you want like a piece that's like more? I call them catalog grills, because like we can do the catalog grill. We can maybe use like the cheaper gemstones that look bigger and shinier, but might not be good for long-term wear, or we can go with more of the premium metals. We can do a design that's more comfortable and stick with harder gemstones like the sapphires and diamonds, because you'll have something that's for life. But do you have like the different types of, I guess, like categories for grills with like everyday wear and like the catalog ones as well?
So I really like that, but no, I haven't got to a point of cataloging. What I've done is only based on function of the wearers. So for example, I know that when I'm doing grills for a rapper who I know has a very energetic performance on stage, it's very, very serious how much retention I have. And I have to have retention for like quick bursts of air coming out the mouth. Just think if you're suddenly rapping and you shout and you scream and you're something, your muscles, your lips suddenly push. You get air suddenly coming out that goes under the grill. Now, if someone have got a patient who's wearing just a small little thing and is wearing it to smile and go out with their friend, they're not performing, they're not screaming on stage, they're not jumping, they're not doing anything like that. They haven't been also drinking, they haven't it's less pressure, it's less stress for me. At the moment now, I still try to get to a point where I make like every fit perfect. But the only thing that I've done is, depending on how someone is going to be using it, I do this thing called like a scream test. I've done it with all the rappers. It's very funny.
I've not heard of that.
So I put in the grill. This is what I do. Let me show you that. So they wear their grill. We put it in like this. I go like this. And then I say, come over like a couch. Come over a couch or a soft surface and scream. Just go like, like we do this. We do this exercise, and if it doesn't fall out, but they can take it out nicely, then I know I've done my job, and then I'm happy to take the rest of my payment. I also do that, by the way. The way that I work is I take 70% of my payment, and I make the grill. And only when I put the grill in and they've done their test and I'm happy, after scream test, then they can pay my balance and I can go in peace. So that's what I do. Because I can't afford to, people. I can't afford from a brand perspective. Now someone's wearing my grill and then they go scream on stage. Oh, Dr. Smile made the grill. Everyone already knows. And then they shout and the grill goes into the crowd. And like, I can't afford that. That's hectic.
That's
That's
really
funny.
interesting.
I've done a screen test. One of the tests that I do, this is before the client, I've started doing now like a third fit check model. And I get the model and I have the grill on and I like shake it. And I shake it like this up and down and the grill stays
Yes,
on. I'm like, okay, good. Client's ready to come
yes,
in.
exactly.
Same principle.
This is
Different
really an
execution.
interesting, this is, even the fit is quite an interesting thing for me. I
Mm.
obviously, so it's interesting. I did my master's degree on shrinkage, expansion, and but specifically on implant models. So using dental dye stone, which we all mix our plaster and we pour it in an impression. But how well do you mix that? What is the ratio of powder to water? Are you following manufacturer's instructions? What temperature is it setting in? How long do you give it? Is it moist? Is it dry? I did a lot of research and understanding. So my mind is like extra focused on like mixing things correct. As volume a little. Am I mixing like correctly? And am I using the correct plaster? So for example, type 4 dental stone is the hardest. It's like a peach color. It's the hardest. And so least resistance to scratching. Because now you want to be really specific with the fit and you just go on and off and you scratch away the tooth. And then you're like, this is perfect. Then you go in the mouth and it's tight and it doesn't fit. Then you understand where that came from.
Yeah.
But
So
then
it's
what I
understanding
started doing,
material.
I do a lot of work now digitally. And I used to then take a scan and print at the same 50 micron accuracy that we print dental accuracy models in. And then I also take an impression and then I check on both. I've always done that. I always like to check with both just to ensure that I'm happy. But then recently I've been having some grills that I'm doing for people from overseas or out of my city that can't come to me for an impression. So it's fine. Please go to there, get a scan, send it to me. I'm going to get it right. But now it all comes down to how you print that model, how accurate you print it. How long do you leave it to be cleaned in alcohol? Does it expand an extra 100 microns or 200 microns? Do you leave it to sit for 12 hours or 4 hours? What is the post-processing on 3D printed models that will be most accurate to a properly mixed dye stone plaster model? And that is actually closest to the mouth. So I did tests on myself. And I saw that these things were all slightly different. And so I've been working with my team to ensure that I'm using a specific resin that I print and I post-treat in a certain way to get them as accurate. So I know if I don't have a model and I check it on the printed model, it's going to be as close as it possibly can be to the mouth, and I can be confident. Because I've had those things. It's tight on the printed model, it's loose in the mouth, it's fit. I was like, I don't know what's going on now. Someone help me.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, the
a
digital
lot,
side of things,
man.
the different types of materials for the models is a whole other ball game because my background was in digital design like after uni, so that's what I specialized in. But funny enough, I've got all the software here. I have the 3Shape, I've got the scanner, and I still actually prefer the analog way, just for my like procedures and what I do, because I found like the way that I do it, the materials I use, okay, this is perfect, and what's that saying? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I know that there's definitely like a way to streamline things with digital, and especially having that background there in the software. But I'm still like, I love the analog way. I feel like I've got it down pat. The materials I'm using are like foolproof for me. Like once you know the processes, and then it kind of like closes off any room for error, because I had the same problem with I was doing all the impressions myself. I'm really fussy with the impressions in particular, because that's a whole other thing. And then I did open up the online orders for people to only send impressions from the dentist. I have never done a DIY kit, and I never will. Or they could send a scan from the dentist. And we did have a case. It was the first time ever where the scan, it was sent and it was printed. And then I actually saw the person when I went over to the US, took the impression molds, completely different, because something had happened with either the file exchange or the shrinkage of the materials. So that's why it can open up more room for error with the digital side of things if you don't understand the materials and the softwares. So that's why I stick to analog for now, because I don't want to accept.
There's so much that can affect your fit. And I learned that a lot in dentistry first. So obviously, in the era of digital dentistry, everyone is now going to fully doing veneers digital, which means no one's taking impressions, they're just scanning. And I would always try to work very, very accurately. And I would sit with the technicians and say, look, it does not fit the same on this model and this. And I was just doing digital work. And I'm like, look, this is where your issue is. How are we printing? What is the accuracy? What is the post-processing of your print? Can you see? And then I brought them to the patient side and I said, look, this is from the fit of the veneer just on the digital, just on the plaster. And now you can see the implication in the patient's mouth. And so I've gone through those. So I have a very high sensitivity to those things. And sometimes knowing too much also complicates things. Now you're like, oh, no, you try, then you go the long way around and like, I could have just done it in an easy way and it would have worked out. But it's always good to have more and more knowledge and then to know how to use it and where to place it.
Yeah, definitely. But I agree with knowing too much because I feel like after working in the lab, because we were doing everything digital in the lab and seeing problems come about with the scans and the dentists, I felt like, okay, if I can control all aspects of the process of the grills making, from the client consult, the impressions, the wax up, the casting, the polish, the fit, then I know that I can have a product that I can stand behind. But as soon as like I accept anything like by a third party, that's where I was like, that's where the room of error can kind of open up. And then also being in the lab and seeing like how much maintenance, you can get printers really cheap and you can get materials that are cheap, but if you want a high quality product, you need the best materials as well. And after seeing like how much these printers are, the maintenance of it, the resin and everything like that, I was like, this is going to be like I need someone like maintaining this pretty much 24/7. And for me, with still controlling all aspects of the business, I was like, I literally don't have time to babysit the printer that I want and need to have the accuracy that I want as well for the grills. But yeah, there's so much more to it. With the materials.
Well, I've sorted it out now. It's just come after a lot of effort and checks and this and that. And actually yesterday, my team said to me, one of the members of my team said, okay, we've got your normal models as you always have them, but we've tried a new printer. So now you need to test out your fit on this one to see if it has worked in the same way as everything we arranged. I'm like, oh, now I need to go back to square one. And check, because you tweak things. It's like on one of them with a specific resin that looks really dope, I have to print the model point about 100 microns scaled up for it to fit the same as, because I have a little bit of shrinkage. And then we learned that this is how we learned that. Duda, remember when I did that set of anatomicals? I did the hand anatomicals, and then you were doing it for the first time, and then you exported the file and I printed it, and then the teeth were like 7 times the size of normal.
Don't even tell me about it.
This is all learning, but this is something. So now, guys, you can have the perfect impression and the scan and the design and everything you want. And then if your file is exported to the printer and you haven't checked your settings of if it's accurate, you're going to get your exact thing magnified.
Huge, or very, very small.
The classic rookie error.
So you have to check all of this. Like going into the digital dentistry space, there's a lot of things to check, but it's good to know about everything. And I think the way that Bay has done it is so beautiful. Like she's got a niche, she's got a style, she's got a flow, and you're only what, 20, 27? How old are you now?
I'm 26, but I keep saying to people I'm 25 accidentally.
Oh, yeah, you're 26. It's amazing that you've developed your business and your brand. Just look behind you how many girls you have, that you developed your business and your brand to this level, and you have so much knowledge and confidence and this that at this stage. It's great. So you're obviously gonna go on to create like. Yeah, it's great for anyone watching to say, apply like some serious principles and work hard, and find your flow and find your niche and find how you like doing things. Then you'll create a brand
definitely.
that is unique to you.
All that problem solving as well, and that's the thing. It circles back to the perfect fit, because I cannot emphasize enough. Like there is no secret to it. It's like you'd have to like plug a USB maybe like Wi-Fi, airdrop it out of my brain, because it's like there's so much more to it than just like some kind of like secret. You know, we're talking about all the materials, we're talking about the dental side of things, designs as well, and processes. It's different for every artist, every grills maker, but the bottom line is like what it all boils down to is like we've found our ways. Like we've learned about everything. We've kind of like we've read all the articles, we've done all the assignments to research, and we know the products, we know the materials that we're working with, and we find our own ways to make it work. And we've all got different resources in different countries as well, different materials, and it's all still kind of learning for us. Like we make mistakes, but we know how to fix them. And I guess that's like the difference that sets us aside from other grills makers, is we understand like why problems can arise, and we can give the client like an honest answer as to like why maybe there's some problems here and there, and we'll fix it. No client's going to walk out the door with issues unresolved.
And I want to say
us.
something else. I want to say something else, like for the wider Grillz community. I think it's important to understand that nobody else's success, growth, progress takes away from yours. You know, we get into this space where you started doing something or created something and someone else has done it, and or someone's done something better than you, or now you either fall into a space of, okay, can you support and encourage, or are you going to hate? And there's a lot of hate in this space, and that's not useful to anybody. So I think when you're doing stuff and you have somebody else also doing it or doing it better or trying to do it or this or that, help, encourage, share knowledge where you can, because no one is going to be able to take away from your uniqueness and what you're doing. And yeah, I think support and encourage each other. This is quite important. You don't need to, I mean, that being said, you don't need to give every single piece of info that you have. If you're doing something unique and you've created a unique brand and you made a lot of effort to it, you don't also just need to give out your whole recipe. But encourage and support other people around you. I think that's quite an important part of this industry.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely. That's why we're having this discussion. This is like our way of being able to share insight as to like how we built our businesses, where we're at, and be able to also like share our journey so that everyone else can hear about it. Because you know, you only really see what's posted online. You might only see a couple Instagram photos. You don't actually really know the maker and understand their story. And you know, sometimes you might come across someone's page and be like, wow, like I want to have that, like, and you want the answers to it. But it is important to also like stay in your own lane, focus on your own journey, and find your niche and find what like makes you happy as well. Realistically, we all have our own different designs and different ways that we go about our business as well. But it's because it aligns with who we are as people, I would say. And that kind of also ties into branding as well, which I believe we wanted to touch on branding. Did we?
Yeah, we have people asking about branding too. I just want to leave that specific part to the end, just so we can keep it a little bit more technical. That was like this part right now. That was crazy because like I put myself usually in the position where, and I believe there's a lot of people from the course over here. So usually I'm in this place that where I'm teaching, right? So I'm showing, you can't forget to update the size ratios when you finish, or else you're going to end up with a 7 times bigger piece or a 7 times smaller piece. And the caster is not going to ask you if the proportions are right. He's just going to print and cast and deliver it to you, and he's going to want to get paid.
So this kind of relation is really nice, because I've done this mistake like last week, and I posted the grill and I was like, wow, this is looking off. And I was trying, and I brought the plaster model, and I was trying to fit it, and it was so small. So I got it, took a picture, sent it to the community, and said, hey guys, that's why you can't forget to update the size ratio. So this part where you guys are just bringing so much information that I don't have access, and I'm just sitting quiet, listening to every part of it, because this is my learning process too. So this event right now, it's really different for me, because I'm back, sitting back, and I want to get and I want to absorb the most information I can. And I think it's important to mention about the perfect fit, or like we
Mm.
don't need to try to sensationalize it too much, like the perfect fit, because I honestly don't believe that actually exists. Like the perfect fit can happen, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but in my experience, I see that even the biggest dentist and the one that does like those big protocols surgeries, or like if you're doing the bruxism, I don't know how to say that, when you grind your teeth. Um, they need to have those plates and everything. I've seen like dentists bringing clients inside and try to fit, and it doesn't fit, and like they're really good dentists. That doesn't mean that they are not a
It's
good
because it's the
professional.
technician's fault.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say, I'm like,
could be. But my point is, even the biggest, the most technical people in the game, they have to sometimes say, okay, come back next week. I'm gonna redo this, redo that. And I feel like in the grills world, we don't have this understanding. I mean, even for the client's point of view, that people expect the piece to be delivered perfectly, quickly, and with no margin of error, of like maybe redo something here and there or take back. Uh, I obviously understand that this would be the ideal way of like, okay, all my pieces are gonna be delivered fast, perfect fit. We're not gonna have to do any adjustments, but in reality, I feel like that's a little bit different. Like we need to have a little bit margin of adjusting here and there. Do you agree with it, or do you believe that the perfect fit, does it exist, or is it something that needs to align, like a good set of teeth, like aligned teeth, and a design um, that will conversate with the teeth that's being done with. Like I feel like
I
there's a lot
wanna,
of
I
things
wanna,
that needs to go around.
I wanna say something on this. I don't think you can say you're gonna get the perfect fit. I know we've all done grills, and we get that one grill, and we've done checks, and it goes in and 100% perfect, and goodbye and enjoy it, right? And that has happened, but it's not like every time you're gonna get it. I think what you can do is you're gonna have to minimize the zones of error that can compromise your fit. So when you're taking an impression, you make sure that the teeth don't have residue on them. When you are pouring it, you make sure you're sticking to the correct manufacturer's instructions. When you are casting, you make sure that, well, actually before, if you use the spacer or you didn't use the spacer. When you are checking on the models, if you use like an occlusal fit check spray to be able to understand where the zones are, to be able to remove, you can do all of these things to minimize your errors. And then other than that, you pray. And if you don't pray, I think then that's why the stress is.
I think it
That's
comes
why I
down to
always
the
say,
preparation as well. Would you say, like,
what?
with my jobs, the preparation side of things takes me arguably just as much time as the wax ups and the polishing. I've I've managed to get to a point now where my polishing and doing the fit is pretty quick for me now, because I feel like the preparation side of things is where I put a lot of the effort into. And my concept is, if we don't have the perfect impression mold, we cannot get the perfect fit. We don't have the perfect, and it kind of then like goes down every part of the fabrication process. So then the next part is like pouring the teeth molds. If we don't have the perfect teeth mold, then the perfect representation of the client's teeth, then you can't get the perfect fit. So I kind of bring it all back to like the foundational stuff in my preparation before I even start the wax carving and everything like that. I feel like that's where for me personally, that's where I put like most of my effort into executing and getting that perfect fit. That we wanted to talk about the two concepts here today was like the axis of insertion or the path of insertion and the blocking out, which I think is something that's really overlooked in terms of like the designs and the fabrication side of things as well. Axis of insertion, or I like to call it the path of insertion. I'll do like a little bit more of like a visual representation because I feel like it might be easier than trying to explain things. And Dr. Smiles, please feel free to add in or correct me as well if I
No,
butcher anything.
I'm interested in watching how you're going to do the visual.
Yeah, well, I feel like the easiest way to visualize it, because I'm more of a visual learner, is okay, say a client's come in and their teeth say like on like a 45-degree angle. The grill isn't going to then be placed on directly like this. So path of insertion is a really, I guess it's for us, it's like a simple concept of like understanding the direction that the grills are going to be placed onto the teeth and that angle as well, because everyone's teeth are going to be different. If you're lucky and you have a lot of clients that have ortho treatment, which in my case, I feel like I am very lucky with that. You know, it sometimes is a little bit easier with designing and making the grills because you've got straight teeth, and that means then the path of insertion typically is pretty straightforward. Say if you've got angles and then you turn the tooth a little bit more this way, things change as well. The grill isn't going to go on like this. Sometimes it has to go on a little bit of an angle and then find its way back to that top third of your gum line, which is where the retention comes in. So blocking out ties into the path of insertion, I would say as well. And for me, like another visual representation, blocking out, usually I do a lot of that work in between the teeth, so interproximal. That's where the teeth, I feel like that's where a lot of, I guess, like the fit, you need to kind of be blocking out that pathway there. And then also the lingual side of the teeth, more so for the uppers, which is the inside of your teeth there. So they're the areas where I would say the back of your tooth and it's curved like this as well. If the grill is going on like that and you're engaging all contact areas of the tooth, then it's literally not going to even like fit down over the tooth. And like how Dr. Smile said before, you want the grill to kind of like gently like hug the client's tooth. So they're like the two main things that I will factor into my design and my fabrication process to make sure that by the time I do the wax up and do the cast, once I got the cast back, depends obviously if it's like a bigger set, it takes a little bit more time to do the fitting. It's a matter of, you know, a couple minutes to fit the grill down. I do my test is like the shake test. Put it on the tooth mold, get the final fit check model that hasn't been touched, so the stone's not worn down. Put it on there, and then I shake it, make sure that it's actually sitting upright. But yeah, they're the two main concepts that we discussed about factoring into your designs and fabrication for perfect fit grills. Dr.
Lovely.
Smiles, do you want to go
Yeah.
into more discussion about that? I know that you've probably got
Yeah.
some better ways to look at
Love
things
to
as
hear
well.
him say about the axes and the blocking outs. And also, I want to throw gum line carving. I wanted to know what's your intake of about that too. Because to me, the model prep, what I consider model prep would be the selecting the axis of insertion, understanding where to block out, and then I do a slide carve in the gums. So just to make sure we have a little bit more of tension there, and we're not gonna have a metal showing the very top of the tooth there. So just throwing that to make it a little bit more whole.
Can I quickly add on about the gum line carving? I just want to mention, but I actually don't do any gum line carving. The material, if you're doing a scan, you'll get a different impression mold of the client's teeth, but also their gums as to doing the PVS impressions. So I might pronounce this incorrectly, but it's something to do with the is it viscostatic impressions. So it's to do with the materials I'm using are essentially like pushing the gums upwards a little bit. But if you're doing a scan, the gums will still be in place there. So I don't do any gum line carving because the materials I'm using are kind of like doing that job for me and getting like the perfect margin of the teeth and slightly pushing the gums up a little bit from that firmness as well.
Yes.
I think you said it beautifully, Bay. I think what is important for people to understand, again, is the material science, because it makes a difference what material you're using to how much you need to engage and undercut. So if we're even using this term engage and undercut, if I show you this as a circle, as a sphere, and then I put my finger here, well, I'm touching this at its most convex position. Everything under this line is undercut. Everything over that line is irrelevant to us from a fit perspective. So you say, okay, I've got to now, in this triangle here that I've formed, I've got to block all of that out. And do I want to block down exactly perpendicular? If I block exactly perpendicular all the way, and I block that out, then I'm not going to be able to engage any undercut. I'm going to have just a very passive fit that can fall off in the same way. Now it's just relying on surface area contact for resistance to falling out, as opposed to engaging an undercut. And then how much do I want to engage an undercut? I generally only use, in all my grills, I only use 18 karat gold. I don't now do grills from chrome or silver or 9 karat gold. I just generally work with 18, right? But for example, for anyone starting out and whatever you're using, chrome is very, very hard. Chrome does not have give the way that 18 karat gold does. And so if my 18 karat gold grill is going to be able to go over the convexity and just go into the undercut, it can easily flex to come out. But if I'm doing chrome, I do not have that luxury. So I can go about 200 microns maximum into the undercut for me with gold, and I'm happy with that flexibility. But it may not work. Now you may put a little bit more with chrome, and then you wonder, why is this going in and it's so tight and I'm damaging the tooth to get it out? So even when you block out, you've got to think about how much you're blocking out. And Day was busy explaining about this path of insertion. Like, do I come vertically? If I'm coming from an angle and I have interference, I have to be able to go there to minimize undercuts. So depending on the shape of your tooth, you want to try to find a position that this grill goes in to minimize your undercuts. And the way that you can do it, the best way to do it, is you take your cast and you just position it and you look with your eyes and you say, okay, if I'm doing a lowest 6 grill, if I angle my cast a little bit this way, I can see too many undercuts. A little bit this way, oh, actually, I see far less. This way, actually, I don't see any undercuts. I mean, you pick a position, and obviously there's equipment that can help you position a cast and save it in a standard orientation. But if you're starting out and you don't have any of that stuff, well, you just got to use your hands, and you've got to decide. And then you've got to say, you know what, my grill, when I now give it to my client, they mustn't just put it straight from the top. They must actually put it towards the back. And that's how it's going to go into the mouth and not cause damage or hold best. So even if I'm not explaining it correctly enough, because you normally want to do this with drawings or graphics to help you, understand that there's something called a path of insertion. And now you guys can go and read about a path of insertion, because you'll see a lot of diagrams about it. And so you can very easily then understand this principle. And understanding that principle will help you get to your better fit faster. It's not that you can't get to it if you don't know about it. It will just help you get there faster with less post-casting removal, which is what we want.
Yeah. I was just going to say that is one of the things I do miss about digital, is that it can give you the path of insertion a lot easier. Nowadays, I can kind of look at a tooth mold and go, oh, this is like, I feel like I've calibrated my brain and my eyes to be able to identify the best path of insertion in the undercuts. But starting out, that is one of the perks of the dental software, is that it can do that.
You are the digital, man. You are the digital.
Yeah, I'm
You are
to
the
the software.
You are the scanner.
I think
But
let's move to, I think you guys had wanted to move to some questions, because I personally have about 7 minutes.
7 minutes. That's good. I think that's yeah. We already addressed most of almost everything of our script, and I just want to let people know that we're about to start the Q&A. So if you have any questions, I see that there's people already starting to type a little some questions over here. And I just want to ask you before we finish it. What's your intake about branding in relation to? Are you having problems with the audio? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
You've muted yourself. Yeah, you're
No,
back
now
now.
I
You're back.
muted I wasn't
Okay,
muted. Can you hear me
okay,
now?
it's back.
Oh, yeah,
It's
you're
back.
back. You're good. You're good.
What I wanted to say, I can still speak for the next half an hour. I would just have to change my location because I'm supposed to be teaching a class in about half an hour.
It's
So
good. It's good.
if people don't mind, I can take you through to my car and then continue the questions. But I can be
We'll have a
questions here
third
for the next 5
backdrop.
minutes. Yeah, just to
No,
let you know.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm really happy of what we already mentioned so far. I just want to go back to what Bay was telling about branding and how does it relate to this technical part, because I feel even without having a long time relation with you, we recently first time met, and I recently just knew your name wasn't Queen, but it was really nice to know that even though we just recently met and we've formally introduced, you always gave that professional vibe with everything you post, with everything you put out there, your perfect website, your perfect bio, and how does it change to your branding? How different you feel it would be if you didn't do that? I think that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be honest, like with the branding, I actually originally paid a lot of money, which was so hurtful for me when I started the business because it was like hard worked money from my hospitality jobs. I paid a lot of money for someone to do the branding because starting the business, like that was something that I was like, oh, I have to, invest in like the branding. And so unfortunately, I got the assets back, and it was just not the vision that I had for the business and the branding for myself. I think another thing is that the branding for Grillz Queen is kind of like an extension, I would say, of like my personality and how I like to do things as well. If you come into my studio, if you see my workbenches, it's very clean. I would like to say that I like to keep things clean. I like to do things properly as well. I've always had that mindset towards, I guess, like any task that I'm doing, whether it's business related or outside of work. I like to do things properly as well. And so starting, like circling back to the branding, I never actually really, after like paying a lot of money for someone to do it, not being happy with it, I actually had the logo done by a photographer, and he just put something up for me, and I was like, I actually really like it. I'm going to stick with it. And then everything else around that, the website, the Instagram, how I would like to say I present myself on social media is really just me. I didn't really want to overthink it because I felt like I have tied myself really closely in with the business. When people come onto my page, they see that I am the maker. They see that I am the Grillz Queen as well. And so realistically, I wanted something that I like and that I was happy with, and that also like ties into how I like to do things, and I guess like also my morals as well in terms of having a product that I stand behind, and also then having a website that provides the information that people need as well. I do really think that in terms of like the growth and like marketing side of things, that also was very organic for me. I haven't paid for an ad I've never done any giveaways or anything like that as well, because I also felt like that would be a little bit damaging for branding when I was starting out. And back to like if you have a product that is good, if you have a good quality product, if you provide a service that people are happy with, if you're giving everyone the correct information and you're sticking to your standards as well, your business will do well organically. It doesn't have to happen overnight, but people essentially started to wear my grills. They started posting about it. We didn't ask them to do that. And, I have a lot of clients that come from referrals, and I like to ask my client, like, oh, how did you find me? Sometimes it's through TikTok, sometimes through Instagram, but a lot of the time it's like they were out, they saw someone wearing grills, they complimented them, and the client was so happy with the product and with their grills that they were like, oh my god, this is like Grillz Queen made them, you should go see her. And they're kind of doing the marketing and the brand awareness for you. It's like, when you think about it, people's teeth, it's like a mini billboard on their face, like literally. And so if you're doing a piece that's like beautiful and that looks good, you've just got like little mini billboards kind of walking around for you. So I think, like, for me, the branding, it was just like, yeah, an extension of how I like to do things. I want to do it properly. I want it to be clean. And
Hey, it's not a billboard, it's a grill board.
Feeling that.
Bro, patent this, bro. Patent this, please. Somebody's gonna steal it.
But yeah, like, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's like, if you want a business that's more closely related to your identity and your artistry, then be yourself. Like, have a brand. If you like color and if you're like a very outgoing person, like, do a lot of color on your website. Every time that you get on the camera, you're wearing like cool, fun outfits, and like have that as your branding as well. I feel like it's something that's kind of more around your identity and your artistry than just be yourself, really, I think.
What I take from this, what I take from this is be yourself, because you are just you are this person, right? Like, you are organized, you are professional, you're united, you're clean.
You've heard that quotation. It says, "Be yourself. Everybody else is already taken."
You're so good with the word.
Nice. I like that. But my point is, it doesn't
I'm
matter.
a rapper, babe. You don't know I'm a rapper. That wasn't my words. I just.
But the point is, how are you gonna get branding? How are you gonna get a branding based on organization and professionalism if you are not? You know the point.
Exactly.
You need to get your stuff together and organize yourself, and then be yourself for that kind of business, because it doesn't matter. Like, if you're just a mess and you don't take care of your process and all, how are you gonna pass that vibe into your brand, right? So
yeah,
be yourself, yes, but be organized, please. I guess that's my point.
Yeah. But Dr. Smile and I, we shared that in common when we were talking before this stream. We were talking about the branding, and I think we did share that in common as well. How did you go about your branding, Dr. Smiles?
So I've always liked creating brands. As I said, I always like to make things and create brands. So before I had Shoreh Custom Made, before I had Dr. Smile as the brand, I had this brand called Ali Wali. And it was a nickname that my aunt and my mom used to call me. Called me Ali Wali.
Losing you, bro.
We're losing you a little bit.
We're losing. Oh, you're gonna lose me now. I'm driving in Cape Town. This is the problem with this. Let me pull over somewhere. I'm by the mountain now. This is the problem with the mountain. Are we? Do you have me yet or no?
Yeah.
I must have lost. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna try and. It just goes in and out of signal here. So I had this business, this accessory business called Ali Wali, and I made this brand and I made a logo for it, and I just put that logo on every single piece that I made, and I really enjoyed it. And sometimes you have a name of a brand and a concept, but you don't have a specific product. You just put that everywhere and you start building your own brand confidence and your brand identity. This is important. And you'll get to the point where you're creating, a very unique grill. that nobody else has done. But for now, come up with a name, make a logo for it, because as soon as you have identity, you have something visual that you yourself can believe in. This is quite important. Anyway, so I'd make logos and make brands, and then I've built a name and a logo, and then I've built the brand around it. That is always generally happened for me in that order. So
I kind of did the opposite.
from Dr. Smile, I would you see. So I do the Dr. Smile brand is like South African celebrity dentistry and cosmetic dentistry. I do all the celebrities' teeth and the cosmetic work. And Dr. Smile has that brand, which has now become the toothbrushes and stuff also. When it started, I was going around to schools doing free dental education, and I needed a name because the kids couldn't say, oh, it's Dr. Abedian Rohani. That's not going to happen. So I was like, oh, I like this name. I went and trademarked it, and then it developed into what it is today. With Shoreh Custom Made, when I made my first grill, I didn't have Shoreh Custom Made. I had Dr. Smile. So I made a grill and I was like, grill by Dr. Smile. Here you go, here's Dr. Smile. But as it developed, I started doing grills. Then I started doing jewelry after grills. Rings, chains, pendants, etc., etc. I wanted a name for my jewelry company separate to my dentistry brand. And now, exactly 12 years ago, my mother passed away, but my mother's name was Shoreh. Shoreh is a Persian name. I'm Persian. So Shoreh was my mother's name. It translates into, if you translate it in English, it translates into famous. But I didn't even know that at the time. Like, I didn't know the meaning of her name. So I was like, okay, shout out for that. That's going to help my brand grow. But Shoreh was my mother's name. And I just wanted to create something in memory of my mother. Because a lot of pieces that I create, obviously, as I said, I don't just do grills, but I create a lot of pieces and sentimental pieces for people. And funny enough, I create a lot of pieces for people who have lost loved ones. And I create these memory pendants, these little pendants called mini memory pendants, which is only 1 centimeter picture of their loved one's face, whether they've passed on or they're alive. But that's something that I do a lot in my brand. And it was inspired by things previously in my life. But essentially, I created the brand Shoreh Custom Made. I didn't really have a logo for it. I wrote out the name Shoreh, and then I had the diamond as the O. And then the symbol that people know, which is this diamond with the 3 dots, where that came from is that in Farsi, in the Persian language, the sound for sh, for Shoreh, is a letter. It's like a letter SH. But that is written with 3 dots. We all know Arabic and Persian writing has like dots above. So the 3 dots come from the sh for Shoreh. My little brother was the one who came up with that beautiful little design for me to add on to the diamond. But that now became the O in Shoreh, which is the symbol of the brand. And I put that obviously on all my grills and all the pieces, in my hallmarks, in the packaging. And okay, that's the brand that I've got now. I've got a long way to go with packaging. I sometimes I envy people who just do grills. Like I'm not able to sit 7 days a week or 6 or 5 days a week or whatever and work on grills. I get to do 2 to 3 grills a month normally. That's like how much I can do because I have all of my patients. Then I'm booked for like 5 months in advance for veneers, and then I'm teaching students at university, and I'm trying to launch businesses. So I would like to. So even though I know a lot about grills, my growth rate is slow. It's slower than someone like Bay. Who Bay would have in the first 2 years navigated like 50 of the mistakes that I've made over 10 years.
I'm pumping like
So
40
lucky.
grills a month at the moment. It's too much.
Yeah,
It's too much.
exactly,
We need more than
exactly.
that.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, but it's beautiful to see that the growth rate of designs and grills and stuff is moving so quickly. But again, back to branding, find something that inspires you, create a logo around it, and build your idea. You just have to stick with it. Don't worry. Like, you want to change your name of your brand in a few years, it's fine. Change it. Just start. There's another line that I learned. You keep saying I'm good with words, but I keep on taking these things that I've learned. And this is
Just
something so important that I remind myself every day. And it is that perfection is the enemy of good.
Mm.
And it's so important because you'll sit there forever and ever, amen, trying to perfect something, and you don't start, and you don't launch, and you don't move, and you don't progress and make the mistakes because you're trying to get it perfect. But if you just get it good, that's an amazing start. Or good enough. I think we say good is the enemy of all.
I always think like perfectionism is like procrastination in disguise, because it stops you from starting things, being like, I need it to be perfect. And I definitely did come across that when I was going through the branding thing, and that's why I was like, I just got to have something out there. But it's a beautiful story, Dr. Smiles, about your logo, and I love your logo and everything about it as
Love
well.
it. So I'm just gonna
Thank you.
glue it straight to the question from Dongju Park. She said, I'm sorry, not sure it's she or he, but question for everyone. If you summarize your brand into one word, what would it be?
Oh, that's a very good question. My grill into one word, what would it be? Is, I would say, like, identity, because people come in and they want something that suits them. Even still, if I do a lot of the same designs, like, it is unique to them, and I will always come up with a design that suits the client's aesthetic, their identity, and I would say, like, the grill is like part of your identity, and I'd like to stick with that. Yeah.
What would I say?
Any more questions?
I would say persistence. From my side, I would just say persistence. I can't yet say, because every time I see a design, do a design, I'm trying to improve on some element of it.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing. I see it as a keep persisting, don't give up, and then that is the journey. The beauty is in the journey, not necessarily the final product.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I'm also sorry. I might lose you. A bit here driving. Sorry.
Yeah, you're glitching a little bit, but I think it's all right. So Angelo asked, I understand teeth anatomy can change over time if oral health is maintained appropriately. How long do you recommend a dental scan is still good before you would recommend another one?
Or maybe Dr. Smile, you'd be able to probably touch more on that.
Good. Very important question.
Oh, we've lost him a little bit.
Who the question was to? I just heard the question. Sorry.
We're talking about like the time frame from like having the scan of the impression mold to then how long is that going to be useful for the grills?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
Straight up 1 year.
1 year. I have a kind of a different one approach, because I experimented on my own teeth, of course, first, but I've been using my own teeth molds for years now, probably 4 or 5 years. But I would like to say that there's an exception for every patient, every client will be really different, and that kind of comes back to what's happening in their mouth on a dental side of things. Because, for example, like when the clients come in, I always ask, like, have you had ortho? And do you still have your wisdom teeth, or are you undergoing any current dental procedures as well? Because, of course, if someone is going to go get ortho work done, their teeth will move. If people have had previous ortho work and they don't have the fixed permanent retainers, if they're not wearing the retainers, their teeth are more likely to move than someone who hasn't had ortho. Dr. Smiles, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but most likely, if you've had ortho, you're not wearing your retainers, your teeth kind of want to go back to their homes. Even after 5-10 years, it can happen. So I always ask the clients, have you had previous ortho work? Do you have retainers? And another example is if people haven't had their wisdom teeth come through yet, or if their wisdom teeth are coming through and then they start to experience more crowding in their mouth. So every case will be very different. That's why it's good when the client comes in to kind of get a good idea in that first consult I guess like a scope of like how they're looking in terms of their dental work, if they're also going to be having any more dental work in the future as well. You can kind of talk to them about, all right, well, if you know you're going to be undergoing any more dental work, then potentially the grills might not be fitting in the future as well. So I would say it is kind of different between every client and patient as well.
Well, that's interesting. I guess
I think
go ahead.
I think that's a great holistic summary of that. The wisdom teeth normally erupt between ages 17 and 21. And so
Yeah, we're losing him, man.
17 unless
him.
Okay.
We have a little bit of trouble with the connection with Dr. Smile, unfortunately. But I guess we covered that question. My understanding would be this 1 year answer that he gave us would be more like that safe window. Like if it's 1 year, it's safe, you can trust. Of course, there's people that has difference here and there, but if you want to have a protocol, like just a general thing, like 1 year, you can definitely trust for everyone. Is that right?
Yeah, it's definitely a safer window for sure.
So just connecting the questions, Amir Ramanjin asked, is it possible to have grills with fixed retainers? And that question gives me the chills just when just by hearing it. Every time I get a skin that has retainers, I just go crazy because there's, to me at least, they're really tricky. So I want to hear what you think about like grills with retainers.
I would say most of my clients have the retainers. I don't have any problems with them. And sometimes, I mean, you can get problems with them because it depends how the dentist or the orthodontist places those wires, and you never know like how they're going to go about doing it. And you see every different type of placement, and sometimes there's a lot of resin, sometimes the wires sticking out. I will usually find a way to work around it, but most of the time I will go over those wires. And for me, sometimes they actually can help with a bit more retention. If someone has really flat profile teeth and we're doing a design on just one or two teeth, those wires actually sometimes can be a little bit handy to kind of have like more of a clip-on effect and more retention with those engaging those undercuts. But then, of course, the risk of that is if people have those wires removed in the future, then the grills, you'll have some discrepancies with the fit. Or if the wires get replaced and moved, anything like that as well. But you can still get grills with the ortho wires. Most of my clients have them.
Can you guys hear me or not? Am I still in a bad
Yeah,
space
we
or
can
no?
hear you. We can.
It's good.
I've been listening. I think everything that has been said is perfect. I was saying back to the teeth anatomy question. Also, the retention wires, no, I don't think is a concern if you just understand path of insertion and where you want to use the tooth. So that's not so much of a concern. In terms of the tooth anatomy, what's important is how many teeth are you looking to do in the grill? If you're doing a cross arch, cross midline grill, then no, I would not suggest you use something for over a year. If you're trying to be very, very specific and you don't have opportunity to refit the grill or spend time with it, it's going to make a big difference what design you're doing. If you're doing one or two teeth, it's a very different exercise. You can keep that cast for 10 years. But like I made these grills 8 years ago and they still fit. I don't have a retainer. Obviously, sometimes it feels a bit tight, a bit loose. And it's important for people to understand that teeth are always shifting. But it's very aged.
Oh, we're losing him again.
Oh, so sad.
Okay.
We lost
Sorry.
you for a little bit. That's so good.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
I'm sorry. I'm in the mountain. I'm in the mountains, and I can't be late for these children.
It's okay.
The class I'm doing with children on the weekend. So it's is unfortunately what it is. An individual tooth. Let's say you're doing an individual tooth. You're not likely to worry about
Mm.
or trauma. Not for 10 years. That's not going to change in that way. You can still use it because generally it's only a few hundred microns difference from maybe brushing a little bit too hard. But you're not going to have to worry about doing a grill for someone after 10 years. It's not going to happen that you want to use the same cost after 10 years. But it's safe to say that no, there's not big changes, but it's important to ask the questions that they raised. Have you had dental care? Have you had trauma? When did you finish your orthodontics? Do you have a fixed retainer? Do you have a removable retainer? All of this is very important because if someone wears a removable retainer and you do grills for them and they don't wear their removable retainer, after 2 weeks, your grill won't fit. 2 weeks, even 1 week, the teeth can shift. So this is
Unless
an
they're wearing that
extremely
every day.
important exercise. Yeah, unless they're wearing it every day.
But I'm the same. My I tried on my very first grills that I made, which was like my first, like I would say my first viral grills, which was like a snake one. And it was chrome, and when I look back at it, I'm like, I don't know how that did well on socials, but I tried it on the other day and it still fits on my teeth. And I barely wear my retainers, but I wear my grills a lot, so maybe they're keeping my teeth straight for me. And then I made that like six plus years ago now.
Yeah, you're that good.
Next question would be in the same area. Uh, Mickey Bryan said, "Is it advisable to do grills for someone who has veneers?"
It's a good question. So
Can you
do
guys hear
you?
me?
Yes. Yeah. So it depends because there's different types of materials for the veneers, and there's also different types of veneers as well, which I'm sure Dr. Smile is going to want to branch onto. But it really depends on what type of veneers they have as well. And sometimes, like when someone comes in and they've got composite veneers, and you raise a question as like, have you been having like a lot of repairs on these veneers? Because everyone's teeth are very different as well. Like there'll be clients that will have composites and never experience any chipping or any issues with them. And then there's others that will have chipping within weeks as well. And so it is, I would say, kind of variable between like the type of veneers that they have and the quality of them as to whether or not you want to put grills on their teeth. If they're porcelain veneers, I tend to think that it's usually fine. I will make the retention not as strong as what I would with people with a natural dentition. So there's not as much emphasis or pressure onto those veneers as well. But you also do have to raise the risk of any concerns that can happen with the grills coming on and off. But I would say it's kind of variable case to case. What would you say, Dr. Smiles, on that?
Okay, I'm happy because I've got to my place, so I don't need to drive anymore. So now I can talk.
It was clear.
But the kids are just gonna come to my window. Let me just show you quickly. They've already come. So I teach this class on the weekends. Here they are. Hello, they're ready.
Lovely.
All ready for the class.
That's so cute. Oh my
Are you
god.
teaching them?
Guys, give me 10 minutes so I can finish this call, then we start, okay? Okay.
Oh.
Lovely. Lovely.
Okay. So I'm here. Okay, so this is the story. Bay very correctly said it is dependent on the material. So we know that we have veneers made from resin, composite resin, and we have them made from ceramic. And then in ceramic, there's 3 types of ceramics. There's a zirconia, that's a lot harder. Then there's something called feldspathic, which is the softest. Then there's a lithium disilicate, which is the middle ground. It's important to ask these questions. Resin veneers are the softest. They can be repaired and chips can be fixed, but on ceramics, no, it's not easy to do that. The holistic answer is yes, you can happily make grills for anyone with veneers, but you must explain their risk factor. I won't say that you must be worried about chipping because your grills are supposed to have an even fit over the teeth. They should not be pushing into the teeth. So whether you're using a spacer like 100 micron spacer, whatever you're actually using for your design and the nature of your design. No, you should respect whatever it is, whether it's a veneer, whether it's a ceramic veneer, resin veneer, whatever be the case, you should respect the tooth. What you will get, however, is you will get marks. Guys, now they're knocking on the window. What you will get, what you will get is you will get marks on the veneers. So ceramic veneers have a glaze, and they are baked with that glaze, and they are a lot more resistant to marks and staining. And they're a lot polished, a lot higher, and because they're harder, they don't get scratched as easily. But resin, you will get scratches a lot more readily on resin. Now, this depends on how gently your grills are hugging the teeth or not. So what you might say to people with veneers, say, no problem, we can do them. I will ensure that my fit is as gentle as possible. You may find that after extended period of use, you get a little bit of mark on one part of your tooth where your grill is touching. If you find that you get that, don't be too shocked. You can just go and polish it out. Okay, then you speak to them and them with their dentist or the dentist that you work with so that you can account for that. But you don't want to be having very heavy retention anyway. So no, you shouldn't. But I've done grills for people with veneers and they're fine.
Yes. You just have to ask the questions and understand their dental work as well.
Okay, can we do one more question?
Yeah.
Yes, do another question.
Okay, I think that one's going to be interesting because it's about the metal inflation that we're experiencing everyone worldwide.
About the what?
The metal inflation
Gold.
prices, the prices of gold.
It's too much.
Okay, I'm just finishing the call, okay? Move it. Okay? Okay, carry
So,
on.
Amir again, he said, what metal casts do you suggest for beginners? And during this crazy inflation, what metal blends can we use instead of gold without risking health or having a tarnish?
Yeah, that is a really good question. I think. Oh, yeah.
There's something in dentistry called NPG, non-precious gold. Super cheap, cheap. And it's used in a lot of dental work and dental prosthesis and inlays and onlays and foundation work. And it's super, super affordable and it looks goldish enough, but it's acceptable in the mouth.
Yeah.
It has
Same
passed enough
physical
tests
properties
say to work in
as
the
well.
mouth.
Yeah. Well, honestly, if you're learning and you're I would say if you're learning, you should be making 101 grills for yourself before you're making them for the clients. And you know, I think silver is still quite affordable for people. I personally don't do silver grills for I don't think silver is really good for long-term grills, but if you're learning and you're making them for yourself, it might be worthwhile then using silver because it's more affordable. It has similar properties to gold, and that way then you can still learn and not be at a loss because it is so expensive with gold and every mistake costs. So you really, it's not a metal that you would be learning on. Well, it wouldn't be for me personally if I was starting out. Very expensive.
Is non-precious gold the same as dental gold? Or is it different?
Oh,
No,
Yes,
well, the realistic answer is no. It's not the
okay.
same. One is a non-precious gold, whereas dental is precious gold. It is just mixed with other alloys for strength, longevity. For example, there might be more palladium in dental gold than silver. Now, as he's saying 18 karat white gold. Well, just say 18 karat gold. 18 karat dental gold versus 18 karat jeweler's gold. You'll just have like higher silver copper in jeweler's gold. But with dental gold, they're going to add more palladium. for
Yeah,
example.
and that's the thing. That's the thing is that people probably don't also know that there's actually different. Even if you've got 14 karat gold, the jeweler's one and the dental one, it's actually got a different metal composition, and you have to learn about every single part of that metal composition as well to understand like how why it has the properties that it has. And that boils down to what's in the metal. It could still be 18 karat, but what are all the other components that make up
Yeah.
that alloy
What
as
are the
well? And so
25%?
you've got
What's
to,
the 25%?
yeah, you've got
That
to
is
understand what's in the
25%.
alloy. Mm.
Perfect.
But yeah,
But
unfortunately,
people, as a guideline for people, I mean, when people are starting out, even from the casting perspective, find in your area a dentistry lab and speak with them, because they may very well help you. You can wax up your grills. They can prep your casts for you. Or the dentist can take the impression, or whoever can take the impression is allowed to. And then the lab can prep that for you, and you can do your wax ups, and then
yeah,
you can give it to them and they cast it for you. And
yeah,
then you
make
can play
friends
with
with your
finish,
local labs. Definitely,
make friends with your local lab.
that
Because
is a
then
good.
if they're a dental lab that works with all these metals, you can say to them, hi, I'd like to cast this in 18 karat dental gold. You already know it's fine in the mouth, and you don't have the concern of wastage of metal. This is one thing that I also learned along the way. I used to like cast, and then I have situated with extra gold, and I had to remold and put it, and I always want to use like fresh. And so I started sending it out to casting companies, only way after working with a technician. But find that out and go and read up a little bit about the different types of alloys. And then you
Yeah,
can see what it is that you like. Remember, if
yeah,
you're
no,
having a cross arch grill, it needs to have a lot more strength than if you're doing a single tooth.
mm,
If you're doing delicate, thin designs, it needs to have a lot more strength than if it's a full coverage tooth. So you got to think about those things when you're doing materials.
yeah, absolutely, I understand it. But yeah, the cost of gold, unfortunately, is something that if you're in the business, any jewelry business, if it's grills or jewelry related, you have to be kind of have to like have your finger on the pulse with what's happening in politics as well in a way, because it actually does directly affect the cost of gold for us. And so we're constantly reviewing our prices, having to have a look at our margins of like how much the casts are costing, because from the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
every
Now,
single day was different, and it's a matter of hundreds of dollars for me, thousands of dollars with just a couple of casts by a matter of days. So it is
yeah,
it is a tricky industry to be in terms of the gold constantly changing, but it's also important that if you are advertising your prices, I have on my website that this is just a ballpark, and they could come in a week later and something's happened in terms of the economy. Gold has been directly affected. The jewelers are then directly affected with the cost of how much it costs us to make your grills as well, which is constantly moving. So you've kind of got to also really keep an eye. I would say if you want to get into the business or even just doing it as a hobby, is monitoring what's happening to see what the prices are doing.
I guess we have it, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank,
you.
thank everyone that took all this time to watch it, to message, to ask questions. We have a lot of people thanking us for doing this. And this is the reason I want to keep doing this, because um, from this whole time just working on grills and doing CAD for people and meeting so many talented grills makers worldwide, um, there's a lot of things that need to be said that is not spread, right? So
Yeah,
a lot of knowledge, a lot of concerns, a lot of things that um, we should be spreading as just information in a way to upgrade the whole scene and make sure that we at least try to do our parts. Like if 5 people, 10 people get this information and change the way they're working and pass it up forward, I'm really happy already. So
I'm really grateful that you've made this platform for us to be able to come and share this. So thank you also to you, and well done for this brand that you've created.
thank
Yeah,
you, man.
yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you.
We didn't talk enough about your brand as well, but yeah, we're very grateful to be here, being able to chat. We've all actually been connected via social media for years now, but we haven't actually had the opportunity to really get to know each other and have these discussions. So I'm grateful to be here with you two today because, yeah, it's nice to finally actually get to know you guys and then also be able to share our knowledge with the grills industry as well. So
That makes my
thank you for
heart
having us.
warm. Thank you, guys. And in a little bit, we're like I believe during this week or next, we're just gonna do some quick clipping and editing, cutting the parts that we had the technical issues, and then it's all being recorded and it's gonna be up on YouTube. So
Amazing.
thank you guys again. We're gonna have a discount on the course during the next week because some do try to
Steal my content, and I'm just trying to work around it.
Sorry,
And
it'll always happen. Happens to the best of us. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
well,
happens to me. I
that
get
means that I found value in it. So okay, I'll take it. You know.
oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It does happen. It's almost like a reflection that you are doing the right thing and you're on the right path. But yeah, I've got that many fake Grills Queens accounts. It's insane. I can't even begin to imagine how many there are.
Okay, so thank you guys. And Javi, you can already close this up. Keep tuned for the next ones. And if you have any ideas or any subjects, any topics, any guests you want to see in here next time, let me know. And ciao, ciao.
Johnny Dan. Put
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Good night.
Next
Thank you.
time,
Bye,
geeking
babe.
out with
Bye,
Johnny
Duda.
Day.